I think now we have all the speakers, right? But the Chinese speakers are here, the Indian are here, the Sophia here.
Everybody's here.
Yeah. Then I think maybe we can start now.
Okay, we'll start. Thank you very much. Good morning and good afternoon. A very warm welcome to everyone. And a special thanks to our four panelists today, Mr. Marino Cavallo, who's the head of Research, Innovation and EU projects from the metropolitan city of Bologna in Italy, Mr. Wu, who's the chief of Economic System Reform Section in Haikou in the Hainan province in China, Ms. Slava Georgieva, the senior expert Innovative Sofia in Bulgaria, and Mr. Shishir Srivastava, who's the deputy municipal commissioner from the Gwalior Municipal Corporation in India. My name is Panagiotis Karamanos. I'm the urban development expert for the IURC Asia and Australasia project and focusing on the activities in India. Now, before we start, some practical issues. First of all, for the four panelists, I would kindly ask them to keep their camera on during the duration of this session. For the rest of the participants, please stay muted. And if you have questions, initially you can ask them in the chat box. We have interpretation in this session. So you may need to, depending on the language, we have also Chinese interpretation. So you may want to move to the relevant section of the interpretation. And for the benefit of the difficult and challenging work of our interpreters, I would also like to ask all the presenters to speak relatively slowly so there is time for good interpretation. Now, the objective of this breakout room is to better understand the perspective of the cities, what are they strong at, and how do they see the cooperation as part of the IURC project. And as you may already know, the IURC is very broad in terms of thematic selection. In some cases, cities will work on ecological transition and the Green Deal, including circular economy, nature-based solutions, sustainable urban agriculture. In other cases, they will work on urban and regional renewal and social cohesion. But our focus is on innovative, sustainable, and carbon neutral ecosystem and strategic sectors. And in this respect, cities may choose to work on tourism and culture, health, life sciences, education, job skills, and so forth. Just to give you a little bit of perspective, for example, in terms of tourism, which is a very significant aspect of the livelihood of many cities from the environmental, social, and economic perspective, tourism has an impact on all 17 sustainable development goals. So its importance is very, very high. Similarly, just to highlight another aspect, business incubation is another important aspect of this thematic network. And many cities have taken the initiative to provide infrastructure, education, management for startup companies. With this in mind, and with no further delay, I will pass the virtual floor to the first speaker, Mr. Marino Cavallo, for his input. Mr. Cavallo, the floor is yours.
Many thanks. I have to share my slide. No, okay. I am Marino Cavallo. I work at the metropolitan city of Bologna. I'm responsible of the research, innovation, and EU international project. We have many years of cooperation with the UC program and EUC program in the fields of the environmental issues and the regeneration of the cities. I think is a really important experience. We learn a lot from this project and this experience, and now we are focused in the next month and the project we are doing with our city in China to develop the garden of the culture. I think the relationship between environment and culture is one of the key issues of the cooperation of in this case of the area of Bologna and NCI area of Imola and the city of China. This experience started with the creation and the design of a garden in Yangzhou, and now we are working with this city and with the other city of China, trying to spread, to disseminate this model of close connection between nature and culture. We will realize in an historical park in the center of Imola, this joint
在
center
伊莫拉
of
我
China
们
and
也会去共建一个和中国合作的项目。
and we are working in this phase with our Chinese partner. I think in these activities, the green design and the green design of activity in the cultural sector could be really innovative for the city of the future. In my opinion, the city of the future will be a smart, sustainable city, and the smart, the technology have to work in a close relationship with the activities of the environmental, of the circular economy, and the natural-based solution. This is what we are doing, trying to put together the creativity and the approach to the environment.
Thank you very much. Before we go to the second speaker, I just wanted to ask you how this idea of let's say greening and culture and the green park and culture has been accepted by the citizens and the population. What was the general reaction?
We have a good tradition of attention on the issues of green and the issues of culture. In our territory is located one of the most important academy of music of the world, Academy of Imola, and we will organize in the park where we are creating the research center concert open to the public. And also the activity in the nature-based solution we are realizing with the cooperation of our Chinese partner will be organized with a part of program in the sector of music, of art, this to bring people into this research center, to bring people into this innovative new concept of connection between culture and environment. I think in these activities, the support of the new technology will be really important, also to create a new concept of mixed format of show, of music, of theater activities. With the themes of the environment and the themes of the nature-based solution.
Thank you very much for your input and for giving clarifications to this question. We are moving on now to the second panelist, Mr. Wu, who will be providing the perspective from Haiku side. Mr. Wu, the floor is yours.
Do I have to share my slides?
Slow setup for a few seconds.
Yeah, they are now sharing the slides.
I have the slides. I have the slides.
Yeah. So 吴科长，那个主持人也可以帮你。
Mr. Wu, we can share the slides over here, so you don't have to look for the slides. So we can start, right?
Yes, we can start.
好的，各位
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm here in Haikou. In recent years, our city has taken the Hainan Free Trade Port proposal as an opportunity to fully implement the construction of ecological civilization as our priority. First, we restored the urban ecosystem. Starting from the 13th five-year plan period, the city has accelerated the construction of 10 major projects for ecological improvement, such as wetland parks. At present, the green coverage rate in the city is 42.7%. In 2018, at the Ranza COP13, Haikou was awarded the title as one of the world's first batch of international wetland cities. Second, we strengthened ecological and environmental protection, scientifically eliminated petrol vehicles to ensure full penetration of clean energy vehicles by 2030. Haikou has maintained an excellent air quality rate of around 99% all year round, ranking first among China's key cities for 9 consecutive years. It is China's first World Health City pilot designated by WHO. Third, we promoted green and low carbon transition by building a production, circulation, and consumption system for green, low carbon, and circular development, and by encouraging urban and rural residents to practice a low carbon lifestyle. In June 2021, when Hainan hosted the Environment Day event in our city, 3,215 kilogram carbon emission were produced in total by 230 participants, and they planted 2,000 trees in the city's mangrove national nature reserve afterwards, aiming to neutralize the emission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wu, for the very informative presentation and also for being on time, of course. I have one question for you. You indicated that the city has been ranked as #1 among 74 major cities in China regarding air quality. And this is, of course, a very big challenge for many cities across the world, large cities and medium-sized cities. What, in your view, was the most important measure, most important initiative that you have implemented in order to reduce or improve local air quality?
主要有3个方面。
There are 3 measures mainly. First, we established an air pollution prevention and control center and formulated plans to carry out and supervise assessments of air quality on a monthly and quarterly basis. Second, we improve industrial mix through policy harmonization in favor of environmental protection, and introduced an environmental negative list for enterprises for market access. Third, we initiated a strict cap on total coal consumption and encouraged the use of clean energy. We are accelerating energy mix optimization through initiatives such as oil to gas, coal to gas, solar energy, natural gas, and biogas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is very clear and very useful for other cities that maybe want to follow. We continue now with the third panelist, Ms. Slava Georgieva from Innovative Sofia for her input. Ms. Georgieva, the floor is yours.
Hello to everyone, and first I want to mention that it's a very big privilege for us to be part of the project, and we are very excited to be part of it. As you mentioned, my name is Slava Georgieva, and I'm senior expert in digitalization, innovation, and economic development of Department of Sofia Municipality. And this department is made last year, and we are the place of change and innovation of the city of Sofia. And very quickly, I'm going to give you a short brief of the projects with which we are working on. Sofia municipality is facing and currently working to improve the environment and to meet the city challenges of the city. We use digitalization and innovation and have a lot of e-government, smart city projects, big data, and digital twin ones. Also smart mobility, green, and transport projects, which are part of the other department of the municipality. And all of our work is set up by a strategic documents, which is made for the work of the business ecosystem, citizens, and the European Commission before the setup of our department. We also have a variety of experience in a lot of different projects. I mentioned the digital twin, the open data, phase of the implementation of a lot of different strategies. We have a lot of urban solutions. We work closely with our other department, which work to smart mobility, green deal, and a lot of different projects. Also, waste management and to reduce efficiency is a very big topic for Sofia, and we are trying to work in a lot of different projects there. One of the interesting projects we are currently working is testing applicable innovative technology solutions in the kindergartens. We really recognize the key importance of climate changes and energy transition, and we have a lot of currently projects working on. I think we have I cover a lot of areas we are actually working, and I will be happy to share more information in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Georgieva. And I think for me, at least, and maybe some of us, we really appreciate the digitalization that has happened over the last few years, but also over the last year or two because of COVID. We do not necessarily understand how all this is done at the background, but we really appreciate the outcome of this. So I wanted to ask you, what changes have been made over the last year or so that make the life of citizens easier and also related to the COVID pandemic in terms of avoiding physical access to, let's say, departments or buildings and so forth through your initiatives? If you can give us a couple of examples, maybe.
Yes, so we have a lot of administrative services which are now online, and we are trying to teach people that they can apply or use our services online. This is not only for the pandemic, but we are trying to be innovative and to work like differently. Digital twin is also something which is we are trying to implement and to have access for the businesses and the citizens to the data. We have a lot of other different projects which are trying to teach people to be more digital and to try to represent to them that the future is this, and they have to learn to be more to use the services in a different way.
Thank you very much. Very useful response. And let's move on to the last panelist. I have been receiving the questions. We'll open it up for discussions based on your questions after the last speaker. So the floor is yours, Mr. Srivastava, Deputy Municipal Commissioner from Gwalior.
Good morning and good afternoon. I am Shishir Srivastava from Gwalior Municipal Corporation. Thanks, IUC. Actually, we have joined IUC program since 19 from pair with the European city with Leuven. It's very helpful cooperation program with Leuven. We learn from lots of implemented best practices from Leuven city. Now we have to start the renovation of our historical buildings. Panagit's also seen that these buildings also. So lots of building we have, and these buildings are really historical, and now it's completed with lots of activities are going on in this building. Significant heritage history. The Gwalior is a home of number of public and private heritage. We have more than 400 historical private buildings also. So we have to recover and restore of that building and start with the facade lightings and other projects. So one of the major installation of our ICCC, the Integrated Control and Command Center. So the incubation center is there. We have lots of projects, like one of the major river is it's a length of 13.5 kilometer is the Swarnrekha river. So we have to, that river is renovate. Now in the one part of that river, we have to start the boating for public for reuse of water. But we have to start with the treated, we have to install the 1 MLD capacity sewer treatment plant, and that water we can use and now earn more than 1 million rupees in a year. Not just for the, actually the motivation of not just for the political and administrative leadership is motivated, but the citizen is general are motivated to project the city. We have to discuss with the people and we have to plan for the next for what we do. And the contribution from the IUC program, the understanding of the cooperation projects, international networking, and aspirations to the better projects Gwalior city in close cooperation with Leuven, Belgium, with which we develop a very effective exchange, especially on the practice of heritage conservation. Now we have to conserve, we have to learn, and we have to conserve more than 15 buildings at present. So thanks for IUC. We have to plan for the future for restore the more than 100. We have to target it next year for 100 buildings to restore for the heritage purposes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srivastava. And I had the opportunity to visit Gwalior just a couple of months ago, and the work that is being done is impressive, and the city is really beautiful. My question to you is, when we visited, we did see a lot of works going on. How is all this kind of coordinated? Are there many agencies that do this work, and how is it effective? So, you know, the life of the city continues in the process.
Actually, Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi has to launch the smart city. So we have to cover all the buildings in smart city projects, and the municipal corporations also, and some private parties like a building, they have to start for the renovation of itself. They have to renovate itself for the restore of that buildings. Public also participate.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for the information of everyone. There's a very big, let's say, smart city initiative in India that has been going on for several years to the benefit of many cities across the countries. I'm opening this now for questions and questions from the audience. We already have a few questions. I will be intervening in the meantime with some of questions that I have prepared, but we have here one question specifically for Ms. Georgieva regarding the process of digitalization and whether you are encountering any problems of the digital divide? Ms. Georgieva.
Yes, we are trying to work and to have better services, not only online, but in person, like in the buildings. But I believe that more than 80% of people have access to internet, and maybe more than 50% of them know well how to use it. And we are trying to be as much user-friendly as we can, and our services are. We have very good guidelines where they explain how you can use. And I believe, as I mentioned before, this is the future and people have to adapt a little bit and try to challenge themselves to use it.
Okay, thank you very much. Very useful input. There's another question which I think is related to all the panelists, related to the participatory planning mechanism in place in relation to citizens and maybe other key stakeholders. So let me start from the beginning now and go back to Mr. Cavallo and ask him about participation mechanism in his city regarding these projects that you mentioned about greening and so forth. What was the role of the stakeholders and especially the citizens? Mr. Cavallo, I think you need to speak up a little bit.
The role of the stakeholder in our project is really important. Can you hear me?
Yes, now a bit better.
Okay. It's a really important role of the stakeholder in our project.
Sorry, Ms. Cavallo, we cannot hear you well.
Sorry,
Now it's better. Now it's better. Maybe not too close to the mouth. Maybe a little bit far. Yeah.
The role of the stakeholders is really important in our project because we try to experiment in these activities, the methods, the model of the ADP process, a model realized by the JRC of the EU. This is an innovative way to involve the stakeholder in all phases of the activities when we realize a new project, when we define a new pilot in an innovative area of activities. So we will try to use the ADP process, the entrepreneurial discovery process, to develop and to organize together the activity between the city of China and the Southeast Asia we are cooperating. And I think this will give us insight and a way to reflect about the effectiveness of our proposal and the better cooperation of the different social and economic actors that are working with us in this innovative project of relationship between culture and nature.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cavallo. Let me ask Mr. Wu a similar approach on what was the role of the stakeholders in the initiatives that you have been undertaking.
Well, first of all these initiatives that I spoke of are spearheaded by the government with encouragement of participation from the corporate sector and the general public because it is spearheaded by the government. It has the ability to direct all the investment in such areas as environmental protection and the conservation of the wetlands, and also in everyday. And also we've organized a sort of educational campaign to raise the awareness among the general public, and also the government also leads by example, demonstrating to the people what is the best way forward, so that we can instill within the sense of the general public this strong sense to protect the environment environment to preserve the natural conditions. And as life gets better, I think it's fair to say that the environmental awareness is also arising among the general public, in the sense that more and more people are also working together with the government to make sure that their living conditions continue to improve. And as they see how we are able to make a difference to their lives through the protection of the environment, they have a stronger incentive to participate as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You also raised the issue of awareness, and I want to go back now to Mr. Srivastava regarding awareness towards the citizens about all these initiatives, whether we are talking about heritage protection or whether we are talking about greening the city, mobility, or other initiatives. How is the city informing the citizens? How is it creating awareness about the activities of the city?
Gwalior is a very historical city since centuries. So the people of Gwalior is rich of loving for history and music. Actually, we have a music music originated here. Lots of music originated here. So lots of people here. We have to start our projects. First, we have to discuss with the pupils and our honorable politicians, MLAs and MPs. They have to suggest, we have to receive the suggestion where we do that work. Then we have to start the work. If it is possible, first we have to check it's possible. Gwalior, so lots of ideas are coming from the people. So we have to start for the work. Now we have to, presently we have to going on the, declare as a music city in UNESCO, also our recognized for the music city. Now we have to concentrate on the music. So we have to develop lots of gharana here. Gharana is a homemade musicians here. So we have more. We have to list it. 2,000 people are listed for the music family. Only the music family. So they suggest me for the construct auditoriums. They have to suggest for the reuse of old building for a music purposes, play and other things. Then we have to start for the working on Gwalior Municipal Corporation and Gwalior Smart City.
Maybe we should put you in contact with Bologna, given the history of music and relevance. But staying on the subject of awareness and education, I want to go back to Ms. Georgieva and ask her what is your view regarding digitalization and awareness in the city? How can digitalization support awareness and education?
For sure, it will be a little bit easier to educate more people digitally, like you have access to more of them, which is helpful if they can use it. I know that European Commission now work on silver economy, which is a project to educate elder people to be more digital and to work in different areas or to study new stuff, which is very useful, I believe. Actually, we have a lot of documents which are involving different topics of the education, and we are trying different to implement this in different areas. You mentioned that waste management. We believe that it's very good to teach even in early age how to do that, and that's very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving now to a slightly different approach. Most of you have indicated that greening, nature-based solutions, improving green cover of the city is very, very important. but I assume that's not very easy. So going back to the initial sequence from starting with Mr. Cavallo, what are some of the key requirements to ensure that the city is covered by green areas, either through changes of land use or through improving the existing green coverage?
I think are important both things. We are working. The first things we have to change is the vision of the green. We have to put the green into the city and mix the green with the different urban function in the city. This is the first thing. A new way to consider and to conceive the green and the park and the green solution.
我们需要把绿色和公园和绿色的解决方案。
The emission and the urban function. Another important thing is to create a network of green opportunities in the city. In a big city, people don't know all the different opportunity to use green and to stay in green areas. So it's important also a campaign of awareness, a campaign of communication, and educational and animation activities devoted to the children, to the young people, to the families, to familiarize with the green and really to put the green, the nature into the city. The city of the future will be a city where the nature is an holistic part of the function of the urban function. And now we have to work to do this. But at the same time, we have also to consider the city in the possibility to develop innovative function with the use, for example, of the smart services. Because the city of the future will be a city where the smart and the green potential of the territory will be together and we will be developed together.
So going now to Mr. Wu, who in his presentation suggested that around 43% of the city is covered in green. And the question is the same. How did you do this? What are the requirements in order for a city to achieve these high levels of green coverage?
First of all, we have to strike a balance between urban development and ecological protection. We are feeling our way towards green CBD. It means that the CBD area will be built upon a piece of green land. We are developing such green CBD in Haikou province. In Jiangdong district, we are building this green CBD concept. It's currently a park. We are exploring ways to protect environment while developing CBD economy to deal with the relationship with industries and environmental protection to make sure the city is developing well. This 42-something% green coverage ratio can be maintained. We are also initiating a combined cooling and heating supply system. And we are building this project within the concept of net zero emission pilot. We would like to develop the economy of the industrial park without damaging the environment and compromising the ecological system. We have a lot of mangrove trees in our city. I also mentioned that in my presentation. And we would like to enable people to see such beautiful scenery of mangroves and also the farming land while they are working in the skyscrapers in the city center. That is what we are exploring now, the combination of protection and development.
So there is I was ready to go to Mr. Srivastava, and I will do that in a minute, but there was a very interesting follow-up question regarding all this, let's say, ecological restoration of greening in your city. Has this also served as a source of income from the tourism perspective, either internal within the country or also from abroad? Have you noticed that? Is that something that has been measured, either, let's say, officially or unofficially?
Yes.
No, Mr. Srivastava, just one
green...
second. One second. I'm asking Mr. Wu, and then I'm coming to you with almost the same question.
Yes, indeed, as you mentioned, we have 162 depleted mines, within which 118 are already out of service for many years. At this moment, the government is investing, and also we are attracting social capital to develop those depleted mines into entertainment parks for example, racing cars and for tourist attractions. I don't recall the name, but basically we develop the depleted mines into tourist attractions. You can do a lot of entertainment activities in the mines. For example, you can do camping, you can do racing cars, etc. A lot of social capital is also attracted to co-invest with the government. The ecosystem in Haikou City, it's very sound. It's self-healing. If it's not deliberately compromised by human being, it can basically heal itself very fast. And we are also guiding enterprises to do more plantation. And also we try to create tourist spots for people to camp, to do outdoor activities, and to build demonstrative zones for environmental protection, education for students to use, for the public to get engaged. So with the efforts of the local governments and the public here, the depleted mines are very well restored into livable areas, and at the same time, they can bring additional revenue to tourist sector. Thank you.
Thank you. And then moving directly to Mr. Srivastava, the same approach on basically how the heritage preservation in the city of Gwalior is, have you seen whether it's helping with, let's say, increased tourism, both, again, domestic tourism, but also international tourism?
Definitely, we have to, first our motto is restore our building. Then in future, we have to plan for the earnings also, these buildings. So now we have to start for our, one building is our town hall at Bada, Maharaj Bada. Now we have to start the, for play and other activities. And the tickets are, we have to earn more than, we have to plan for earning money from these buildings. So we have to start the music plays up there by ticket, and historical Events are also planned for historical events like some museums are placed over there, the Victoria Market and Town Hall and Gorky Scout and other buildings.
So thank you very much, and we gradually have to wrap it up. We have 5 more minutes. So I would like to go now backwards and start from Ms. Georgieva, and I want only one sentence from each one of you on a very specific question. How do you see your cities in 10 years from now? And only in one sentence, not one word, but no more than one sentence. How do you see your cities in 10 years from now based on, let's say, your own vision? So Ms. Georgieva, you go first.
We hope so that Sofia will be a more green, innovative, and sustainable city.
Thank you so much. Mr. Cavallo.
In a statement, I don't know if it will be so, but I hope it will be a garden.
Very nice, a garden. Okay, Mr. Srivastava.
We have to plan for the more than 100 crore rupees for the tourism for internationally or nationally tourism for Gwalior.
Thank you, Mr. Wu.
海口10年后一定会
In 10 years' time, Haikou will definitely become a garden city in the coastal area of China. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like, first of all, to thank all the 4 panelists for their very interesting and useful input. And of course, all the attendees who were part of this breakout session, but also that submitted their questions. I will very briefly highlight some of the key points from today. We discussed the importance of greening and culture, and of course, the importance of local air quality, digitalization, innovativeness, not just for COVID-19, but generally for services for the city, but also the importance of heritage preservation. Some key points, I would say, are the importance or the role of participation, stakeholder participation, the role of awareness, breaking the digital divide, bringing a balance between green and built areas in the city, and so therefore providing a balanced approach, and in general, trying to be smart and green. Again, thank you very much. I'll pass it on now to Jin with some further directions on how we move from here for the final session of today's meeting. Thank you very much to everyone.